Jack Ma was not supposed to become one of the most influential business figures of the modern era. Not according to his teachers, not according to his exam scores, and definitely not according to the dozens of rejection letters that quietly piled up long before anyone outside China knew his name. Before the headlines, before the applause, this is before they were Jack Ma. Most people copy tactics, but the frameworks behind them are in an ebook called The System Before the System. Link is in the description. He was born in Hangzhou, China, in 1964, during a period when the country was still largely closed off from the global economy. His parents were traditional musicians, performers of local opera, which meant the household valued discipline and persistence, but not wealth. Money was tight, opportunity was tighter. As a child, Jack Ma struggled academically. He was small, outspoken, and often behind his classmates. Math in particular was a recurring problem. He failed his college entrance exams twice. For most students in China, failing once could end academic ambitions. Failing twice usually did. But what Jack Ma lacked in grades, he compensated for with curiosity and stubborn consistency. Every morning for years, he rode his bicycle to a nearby hotel that hosted foreign tourists. He offered himself as a free tour guide, not for money, but for conversation. His real goal was to practice English. This routine mattered more than it seemed. While his peers were preparing for exams, Jack Ma was unknowingly building a skill that would later become one of his biggest advantages: communication across cultures. On his third attempt, he was finally accepted into Hangzhou Teachers Institute, not a prestigious university, but a door that stayed open long enough for him to walk through. He studied English and graduated in 1988. The job market was unforgiving. Jack Ma applied for dozens of positions: hotel clerk, police officer, office assistant. KFC even opened a new branch in Hangzhou and interviewed 24 people. 23 were hired. Jack Ma was the only one rejected. He eventually became an English teacher, earning the equivalent of about $12 a month. It was not glamorous, but it taught him something important: how to explain complex ideas simply, how to hold attention, and how to persuade without authority. Then the internet arrived. In 1995, Jack Ma traveled to the United States as a translator for a trade delegation. There he encountered the internet for the first time. Curious, he typed beer into a search engine. Results appeared from Germany and the United States, none from China. That absence stayed with him. When he returned home, he borrowed money from friends and launched his first internet company, China Pages. The idea was straightforward: build websites for Chinese companies so they could be discovered online. The execution was not. Internet infrastructure in China was limited. Few people understood what a website was. Many businesses saw no reason to pay for something invisible. The company struggled, then collapsed. By most standards, it was a failure. But it revealed a pattern that would define Jack Ma's thinking. He was not interested in inventing technology. He was interested in building systems that allowed other people to use technology. After a short government role related to trade and e-commerce, Jack Ma noticed the same problem repeating itself. Small Chinese businesses wanted access to global markets but lacked tools, language skills, and distribution channels. Large corporations could afford international exposure. Small ones could not. So in 1999, Jack Ma gathered 18 friends in his apartment. No venture capital, no business plan polished for investors, just a whiteboard, a vision, and a simple premise: create an online marketplace where small businesses could connect with buyers worldwide. They called it Alibaba. The early days were chaotic. Internet adoption was still slow. Revenue was almost non-existent. Skepticism was constant. Competitors emerged quickly, many with more money and stronger technical teams. One of them was eBay, which entered the Chinese market aggressively, backed by global brand recognition and capital. Alibaba responded not by copying eBay's model, but by localizing deeply. They focused on trust mechanisms, language compatibility, and user behavior specific to China. Instead of transaction fees, Alibaba prioritized user growth and engagement. This was a strategic decision, not a technical one. Jack Ma believed that if the platform became indispensable to small businesses, monetization could wait. That patience became one of Alibaba's defining advantages. Cash was still a problem. At one point, the company had less than a year of operating capital left. Jack Ma traveled repeatedly to pitch investors, often being turned down. Then SoftBank entered the picture. In 2000, Masayoshi Son invested $20 million into Alibaba after a brief meeting, not because of detailed financial projections, but because he believed in the mission and the founder's clarity of purpose. That investment extended Alibaba's runway and allowed it to scale aggressively. As eBay continued pushing its global model, Alibaba launched Taobao, a consumer marketplace tailored to Chinese users. It emphasized free listings, social interaction, and community trust features. Sellers migrated quickly. Within a few years, eBay withdrew from the Chinese market. What followed was not overnight fame, but structural dominance. Alibaba built logistics partnerships, payment systems like Alipay, and data-driven infrastructure that connected millions of merchants. Jack Ma's role evolved. He positioned himself not as a traditional CEO, but as a teacher and storyteller. Internally, he focused on culture. Externally, he framed Alibaba as a platform for empowerment, not just commerce. By the time Alibaba went public in 2014, it was one of the largest IPOs in history. Jack Ma was suddenly everywhere. Conferences, interviews, magazine covers. But the foundation had already been laid long before that moment. The story of Jack Ma is not about sudden genius or perfect timing. It is about repeated exposure to failure, slow accumulation of skills, and systems thinking over individual wins. He did not win by being the smartest in the room. He won by understanding people, incentives, and long-term leverage. And, perhaps the most overlooked detail, he started building long before the world was watching. Be sure to like and subscribe so we can make more content like this. See you in the next video.